Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Footy Talks La Liga's Quiz Night. Here, presented by our good friends at La Liga. We've got a 30-question multiple-choice trivia event on deck for you tonight. For those of you tuning into the first, for the first time, I should say, on our Footy Talks La Liga pod, I'm Carlos Verde, one of the hosts. My co-host, Mike DeLuca, will be lingering amongst you guys, at least for the early rounds of the quiz, as we try and make sure that everything's working a-okay, and he also wants to just experience things from the other side as well. This is going to be real interesting, folks. We've got 30 questions, current La Liga, past La Liga, players, transfers, clubs, stadiums, really just an in-depth quiz for you folks tonight. So first things first, I'm going to ask you folks to head over to crowdpur.com. Now I'm going to be putting that in the chat. And our code for tonight's trivia event is RMJCC. And again, that's going to be right there in the chat for you folks. So we'll wait till you guys get online, till we see some people logged in. And we will be ready to roll shortly with our La Liga Footy Talks quiz night here. And like I said, we've got a wide variety of questions. Carlos Verde, Mike DeLuca will be joining us in a bit. Right now, he's lingering amongst the masses. So if you don't mind going over to CrowdPur, we'll be getting started in 3 to 5 minutes. And as you can see tonight, my jersey of choice is Athletic Bilbao, club that obviously stands for a lot in País Vasco, Basque Country. Really just impressive what they've done with their, with their club player policy, trying to keep things local, trying to keep the club's cultural identity strong. And some fantastic players over the years as well. You look at Aritz Aduriz, more recently Iñaki Williams has turned into one of the premier players in La Liga. Really just a club that does things the right way and stands for something as well, just, beyond what happens on the pitch as well. So we're just going to wait for a few more people to pop in here, and we'll get going again in about 2 or 3 minutes. A reminder, the URL is crowdpur.com, and the code is RMJCC in the chat. I'll be posting that again. And again, we've got 30 questions tonight. It's going to be a fun one, folks. Let's see some creativity with the names as well. I don't want to just see, first name, last name. If you can, let's get creative. Maybe your best La Liga pun in the username for CrowdPur. As you know what, let's just about get things going here. We'll give it another minute. Footy Talks La Liga quiz night on deck here. Super excited to bring this one to you. Worked hard on these questions last night, and really looking forward to bringing it to you folks. Mike DeLuca, my co-host, is going to be joining us shortly. In the meantime, get comfortable. Again, crowdpur.com, and the code is RMJCC. So again, throughout tonight's show, we're going to be showing the live answer results, showing the correct answers, and then showing our rankings leaderboard as well. So looking forward to it. And if you're joining us on Facebook Live, a reminder, crowdpur.com. The code is RMJCC. Looking forward to getting things started. And we'll give it another 30 seconds or so and then get underway with our first question. Again, they're kind of all over the map, really a nice mix from across La Liga and even some La Liga Smart Bank stuff as well. So some Segunda División, all clubs, of course, that have either been in La Liga recently or are returning to La Liga. There's a hint for you in 2020-21. So here we go, folks. We'll get this underway. A reminder that we will be displaying the rankings, and that'll just be top 10. That you'll see on the rankings leaderboard when we flash that up. And for prizing tonight, a quick run through. We do have a host of La Liga jerseys on offer. There are going to be 2 winners tonight. So the top 2 finishers on the leaderboard are going to be able to pick in reverse order. Pick in order the jersey of their choice. So 1 jersey for first place, one jersey for second place. First place will get to take whichever jersey they like from amongst La Liga, and second place will have, of course, the options of whatever's left minus, 20 minus 1. So without further ado here, let's get started. So again, one final reminder, folks, crowdpur.com and RMJCC is the code for us here tonight. So hope you guys have your windows ready. We're going to be getting underway here with question number 1. Which of the following players has played for both of Madrid's 2 largest clubs? Again, the question before the answers flash up, which of the following players has played for both of Madrid's 2 largest clubs? And we are off. In 5, 4, it's just counting down here on the back end for me, 2, 1, and away we go. There you see the answers. And which one is it? James Rodriguez, Alvaro Morata, Eder Militao, or Karim Benzema? As we wind it down here, and now you see the correct answer is Alvaro Morata. Looks like the majority of participants did get that question correct. And off to a flying start as we take a look at our early leaderboard. A couple of folks on the board with Alvaro Morata. And now we will be off to question 2 shortly here. As there you see it. Which player won the Pichichi in 2007-2008? I think we started a little early there, so I'll give you another rundown of the answers. Ruud van Nistelrooy, Frederic Canute, Diego Forlan, and Dani Guiza. So there you go. A couple of more opportunities to answer. And again, folks, if you're just joining us, we are hosting this live. I'll just hit pause momentarily. It is on crowdpur.com. We are taking our answers there. Not too late to get started. RMJCC is the code, and I will put that in the chat momentarily. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Again, LaLiga.Footy Talks Trivia Night here as beautiful Wednesday night in Toronto. Not sure where folks are tuning in from. Maybe let us know in the chat. We're going to move on now to question number 3. Which club just earned promotion to La Liga for the first time since 2005, 2006? And the answers will be popping up now. Again, which club just earned promotion to La Liga for the first time since 2005, 2006? As questions starting to fly here. And again, there you go. The correct answer for question 3 was Cádiz. Looks like most participants got that one right. So we'll be moving on now to question number 4. Which of the confirmed clubs that will be competing in 2020-21 is the southernmost in Spain? And I see a couple of comments. We'll be checking in with our leaderboard every 4 to 5 questions. So after question 4, I'll shoot up the leaderboard and we'll keep you guys posted on how things are going. So for now, question 4, which of the confirmed clubs for the 2020-21 La Liga season is the southernmost geographically? The answers will be on screen now. Keep those answers coming in, folks. As we wind it down, we'll hit pause, and the correct answer is Cádiz. Cádiz, keep an eye on that name. It might be coming up later. But again, looks like Granada got a couple of people. Cádiz, of course, recently promoted from La Liga Smartbank. They'll be playing in the top flight for the first time in quite some time. And Granada also southernmost. And really all 4 teams that you see there, Betis, Granada, and Cádiz, and Sevilla, are all in Andalusia, which is, of course, the southernmost province in Spain. So we're going to move on to question 5 now. And actually, you know what? We'll take a quick glance at our leaderboard. Quick look at the crowd rankings here. Looks like we've got Kareem in first on 243 points. Namu checking in, 217. I see Ty McDonald with 200. And looks like there's definitely a pack that's pulling away. We have 4 early favorites here with Kareem, Namu, Ty, and Chris S. So we'll swing it now into question number 5. Personal favorite of mine. This current La Liga left back came through Murcia's system and has played for Getafe and most notably Sevilla. The answers will be on screen now. Some great names in there. Damian Suarez, Sergio Gomez, Sergio Escudero. Names that have certainly been around as we come to the end of question number 5. And the answer, Sergio Escudero, a guy that's been at Sevilla for a long, long time, versatile, and a veteran of La Liga. So there you see it, Sergio Escudero. And, looks like we're getting some feedback in the chat. So I'll also be listing off the answers before presenting them to be selected. So we'll take a look now at question number 6. Question number 6. In the summer of 2011, Malaga signed this player from Villarreal on a mammoth 6-year deal. Is the answer A, Nacho Monreal, B, Carlos Kameni, C, Sergio Sanchez, or D, Santi Cazorla? And the answers will be on your screen now. So again, Monreal, Kameni, Sanchez, and Cazorla, some great names in there, and really some great Malaga teams. No bias, just genuinely excellent squads. As we see, the correct answer was Santi Cazorla. Going from Villarreal to somewhere is usually a dead giveaway, but some other great names in there as well. Carlos Kameni, a backstop on some of those Malaga teams in the early 2010s. Really just some great names in there for sure. As we'll move on now to question 7. This La Liga club just clinched Champions League football next season. It will be their 4th appearance in 6 seasons in Europe's premier club competition. Is it A, Atletico Madrid, B, Sevilla, C, Valencia, or D, Villarreal? And the answers should be on screen now. So again, this club will be playing Champions League football for the 4th time in 6 seasons. Couple of great clubs on that list, some better known than others. Looks like we're getting kind of a mixed bag on the voting board here. And it appears as though the answer is indeed Sevilla, who under Julen Lopetegui have had an up and down season, but really getting the job done and very much still in the mix for the race for 3rd. They're currently level with Atleti going into Thursday's matches. Really some fantastic football on display from them. A lot of really good performances, some not so great ones, but certainly grinding out results when it matters. And we'll take a quick peek now at our rankings leaderboard. Should be on screen now. Looks like Namu is pulling away with a 96-point lead. Tyler McDonald, 400. Kareem's on 380. He's actually got more questions correct than Ty, but I guess in a lesser or more time, I should say, as you can see, you get points depending on how quickly you answer the questions. Chris S. still hanging around. Max White in there as well. Looks like we've got CGRP 19 wearing the sombrero with 0 points down there at the bottom. Tough luck, Cameron. Still looks like there's 22 more questions, so maybe you'll get on the board at some point. Moving on now, we're going to rip into question number 8 regarding Eibar. Eibar's stadium, Ipurua, seats 8,164, which is approximately what percentage of Eibar's population as a town? Is it 3%, 10%, 20%, or 30%? Answers should be on screen now. Again, Eibar, incredible what they've done. Beautiful little stadium there, the Municipal de Ipurua. They've got apartment buildings that hang over the stadium. I saw English journalist Sid Lowe took in one of their post-COVID quarantine matches from on top of a balcony overlooking the stadium. Pretty cool stuff. The correct answer was 30%, and it appears the votes were kind of skewed across B, C, and D. But yes, that is 30% of the town's population. Total population there is in the 27,000 range. So again, just really incredible what that club has accomplished, given, the town size, neighboring rivals, being obviously a lot larger, getting more sponsor dollars. Pretty impressive stuff. So there's a quick look at our updated leaderboard. Looks like Namu is pulling away with 596 points. And unbelievably, he is 7 for 8. That is pretty remarkable. So we're going to move into question number 9 now. And I think Mike DeLuca is going to be joining us shortly here as well. Question number 9. Leonel Messi currently leads La Liga with 20 assists. Who is alone in second with 11? Is it A, Portu, B, Karim Benzema, C, Ever Banega, or D, Mikel Oyarzabal? The questions will be on now. Again, who is second to Lionel Messi in assists this season? 4 pretty good options there for question number 9. Get those votes coming in. And let's see. Looks like, leaderboard was up, so we're going to reset question 9 here. And we'll play question 9 again. There we go. Should be available now on screen. Looks like time ran out there. I apologize. I think we're having some tech difficulties here. The correct answer was Mikel Oyarzabal of Real Sociedad. Looks like Mike is joining us. Mike, how are you?
Oh, I'm good. I endured some home traffic, but I am here with the Footy Talks family. Hi everyone, thanks for joining us tonight. I'm okay. How are you, Carlos? All right.
Yeah, I'm all right. It's looking like questions 8 and 9 had some kind of delay though. So, All right, I've got it paused on question 10, so that should be fine.
All right.
What I'll do is I'll read off the question, and folks should be able to answer here. Which club recently promoted to Segunda and now confirmed going back to Segunda B this season, qualified for the Intertoto Cup, RIP, during the 2002-2003 La Liga season? Hint, this club was one of the 10 founding members of La Liga back in 1929. Was it Racing Santander, Recreativo Huelva, Real Sociedad, or Osasuna? And those answers should be live now.
How have the answers coming in so far been? Have you been surprised by the call? Has anybody thrown in a curveball?
There's quite a few people that are over. I'll tell you that. I think Matt was running away with it here as we'll hit pause. The correct answer for number 10 was Racing Santander. They just came back up to Segunda this year and have immediately been sent back to the 3rd division. Tough times for that club, Mike, but certainly a club that, had some good years in La Liga in the early to mid 2000s. And, I remember Pedro Munitis being a wiry little striker for them in the late 2000s, a mainstay of La Liga early in the 21st century. And they were the answer there. They were the club that qualified for the Toto Cup back in the day. And Mike, as we welcome you, I'm going to flash up the rankings here as well. Looks like Namu is 100 points clear in first. There you guys see the crowd rankings. And Mike, good to have you. How are things?
Yeah, things are going well. Since we last, thank you everybody for being patient as I endured what was the lasting bits of holiday travel back home from a few days away from the office and whatnot. So thank you all for enduring and being, like I said, being patient with me. Not too bad. I mean, I'm not sure if you've jumped into this already before I joined the call. Obviously, we learned about the fate of certain teams over the last little bit of La Liga play, and some things are more conclusive now for clubs within the league. So good stories and bad on some ends. If you're a Real Madrid fan, maybe you're getting more optimistic about the way things are trending toward the end. I know there could be a crowning victory in the very near future for them. So yeah, things are starting to, this odd and crazy season that we've dealt with is starting to wrap up and finalize itself with a big pretty bow on top, isn't it?
No doubt, Mike, no doubt. So we'll move into the middle portion, the second period, if you will, of trivia. Just a reminder, looks like Namu is pulling ahead. He's 100 points clear of Tyler McDonald. We also have Tim that's injected himself into the mix in third on 491. So him and Ty McDonald neck and neck for that second place and that key second La Liga jersey, Michael. So again, prizing tonight. First and second place will be going home with jerseys of their choice from amongst the La Liga club roster. And we'll swing now into question 11. This club had a streak of 10 consecutive seasons in La Liga, snapped with their relegation in 2017-18. Is the answer Deportivo La Coruña, Osasuna, Malaga, or Sporting Gijón? And the questions should be up now. The answers should be up now.
It's crazy to hear, you say even that last question, because I feel as if that issue has taken a hold across Europe. It's not even exclusive to La Liga, but we've noticed, from an Italian example, Chievo Verona, who had a really long, good, strong run in the top flight, also been relegated. We've seen, we spoke about this last time we were on, Carlos, teams within England, big names with large supporters groups, Villa being a perfect example, being in the second division for more than one season. They're back up now, but that could also be short-lived. I don't want to remind any Villa fans of what could lie ahead in the next few weeks. But in Spain as well, the club who is one of those four answers. Crazy to even be talking about relegation and whatnot, like we are right now. But this is the new norm. We have new players coming up and long-standing big names going the other way. It's crazy.
Absolutely. And we'll swing now into question 12 here. Looks like the answers were pretty divided there. I think, 3 different clubs drawing the exact same number of votes. So interesting to see. All 4 of those clubs have gone down in the last 5 years, so it's not that surprising, I guess. But we'll swing now into question number 12. Which regional rivalry has grown to the women's side in the last few years with matches regularly drawing 5-figure crowds? Is it the Derby Andaluz between Granada and Malaga? Is it the Derby Valenciano between Valencia and Levante, and that's Valenciano, of course, or Derby Gallego between Vigo and Deportivo, or the Derby Aragonés between Huesca and Zaragoza? The options will be on screen now. And it's really amazing too, Mike, how quickly the women's game is developing in Spain right now. It's really just growing at an incredible rate, and it's great to see.
Yeah, it is brilliant to see. I just saw on Instagram the other day, Tatiana Aslani. I hope I got her pronunciation of her name right, but a Swedish international, one of the top women's footballers in the world, posting her photo in the Real Madrid white, and saying what a dream come true it is. But it's strange to hear. Well, because in every other walk of footballing life, we speak about Real Madrid as being the footballing hegemon, the great Real Madrid. But in the women's game, we've seen other teams, for example, Lyon, I think is probably the best example, running away as the most dominant women's club. Of course, we've had Manchester City women's as well, being another really successful club. Wolfsburg in the Bundesliga Frauen, also really impressive ladies team. So to see Real Madrid enter the 4, not as one of the already established big names, is interesting, but you're right, it only signals to the strides that the game is making, that you have big name players like Aslani from Sweden again, going over to Real Madrid. And hopefully that starts a trend of even better and more talented women making their way to the women's La Liga. I'm looking forward to that. That'll be exciting.
Absolutely. And the answer there is the Derby Valenciano. They've regularly drawn 15,000, 20,000 at La Mestalla and over at Levante as well. Really, really interesting to see that rivalry develop. So we're going to swing now over to question number 13. This current Real Madrid striker has been out on loan at another La Liga club since 2018. The options are Hugo Vallejo, Borja Mayoral, Dani Gomez, or Jorge de Frutos. And the answers should be in front of you now. So 4 interesting names, couple from around La Liga. Going to be interesting to see where the votes roll in. Looks like quite a few on the Borja Mayoral train there, Mike. And, well, they would be correct. It is indeed Borja Mayoral. He's been at Levante going on, well, he's 2 full seasons and might end up back there next year. So interesting to see him, one of these players that has been farmed out by the big 3, but certainly carved out a nice career for himself in La Liga.
Yeah. Is he the new Jose Callejon?
Oh, don't say it ain't so. That's a tough existence.
Yeah, but another one of those, again, you're right, who the move away from the big club has actually been quite a positive, not something to look back upon as being something of a misstep in your career. Quite the opposite, actually. So
a quick peek at our rankings board. Namu is in the lead on 789. Tim in second on 787. They're neck and neck. Tyler McDonald in third on 696. Kareem and Chris rounding out our top 5. And then there's a whole bunch of folks in the 0 to 2 correct answers range. A lot of work to do for those folks, but for that top 5, it's looking pretty good right now, Mike.
Yeah, you could take on, by the way, for anybody in that bottom half, just know the cliche is that there can be a late season surge. Everybody can have one, guys. So there's more coming up. And I'm looking at, the rest of the questions offer up. So, I won't give anything with it. Let's just move right on because I don't want to give any hints to what's coming up.
Alrighty, so we'll move now to question number 14. And this is a big one. We actually talked about it on our last edition of the Footy Talks La Liga pod, Mike. What year did Luis Figo make an unprecedented 62 million euro move from Barcelona to Real Madrid? The options are 2000, 1995, 2003, and 2005. So again, the question, which will be flashed up shortly, answers-wise that is in what year did Luis Figo make that move? And Mike, we had a chance to speak with Mike Miller, obviously a huge Barca guy. And he said, it's you feel betrayed in that situation, but at the same time, years later, you reflect and you realize, okay, that was the best move for the player at that time.
Yeah. Yeah. We sometimes treat footballers and their decisions like we do with our politicians. At the time, it's all vitriol and anger. And then you look back and you think, with a bit more reflection, maybe it was a bit more pent up anger at that moment in time. But yeah.
And there's no doubt it was the year 2000 and looks like 78% of our participants got that right. So really, I would almost say a seminal moment in the La Liga transfer market too, where, people realized, holy smokes, this can happen, right? A major player can shift from Barca to Real directly and continue to play well, and be an impact player for both ultimately.
Yeah, it was only a few years earlier that the Bosman rule came into effect after it was successfully lobbied for in court by Jean-Marc Bosman and Luis Figo. That move would have been one alongside a couple other very high-profile moves. Edgar Davids would have been a big one in the mix as well. Maybe the biggest one was Sol Campbell. So you're right. It showed people that, wow, this can happen both from a rivalry's sociocultural standpoint, but it can also happen financially, whereby a 62 million euro move or thereabouts can get splashed out by the big boys when they want to at will. And that wasn't always the case prior. And the Galacticos era kind of proved that on steroids really in the years that followed.
We have an absolute dead heat for first right now. We'll flash up the rankings after question 15, but Namu and Tim going head to head right now. They're separated by just 5 points. That's going to be a fun one to watch here as we wrap up the first half here, Mike, with question 15. It's a pretty straightforward one. Which club has won the most La Liga titles? Is it Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, or Real España? And the answers should be up now. So again, Barca, Atleti, Real Madrid, and Real España. Pretty straightforward. And yep, everybody got that one right. Oh, no, 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 no. There were 9 out of the gate that were red hot. And as you can see there, Real Madrid was the correct answer. We had a couple of late write-ins with Barcelona and Atleti. But that's going to bring the first half to a close here, Mike. And we're just going to take a quick look at our rankings leaderboard. Should be flashing up there. Namu and Tim dead even at the break on 980 points. Both of them went 11 for 15 on the front 9 of our Footy Talks La Liga trivia. You've got Tyler McDonald and Kareem at 796 and 679 apiece. Chris S hanging around at 579. Max White at 359. And that's pretty much it in terms of those contending for a jersey here, Mike. But still quite a few participants chugging along, 1 or 2 for 15 on the front 9. We appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Always fun to do these kinds of trivia events. And also a big thank you to the folks at La Liga for putting this together, in conjunction with those at Homestand Sports, Mike. It's always fun doing trivia nights, regardless of the prizes, regardless of, the questions material. It's just fun to get together and talk about sports.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? When it comes to some of the questions we've been asking tonight, we've been talking about things from different eras at different stages in La Liga history, and I think now we're in such a. I mean, this isn't new news by any means, but we're in this awesome period whereby we can access so many of the seminal moments, as you were saying earlier, throughout La Liga, based on, simply just through YouTube or through some really good, rich footballing journalism that exists out there today. So yeah, I'm so happy and encouraged to see some of these stories come to light and people knowing them and answering them well. I mean, well done, guys. Yeah.
So we'll swing now into the second half. Any halftime substitutions, quick water break, quick pee break. We'll give you guys 60 seconds, 90 seconds, and then we'll be back. But I mean, you look at this ranking board, that is impressive what Namu and Tim are doing. I mean, 11 for 15, and there were some tough questions in there where the crowd was split, amongst 3 options kind of thing, Mike, and they're just running away with it. And honestly, over the next couple questions, if the likes of Tyler, Kareem, and Chris S can't make up some ground, I think it might be a pretty easy coast into the finish here for those two in terms of winning the prizes tonight.
Yeah, another really good cheesy cliche would be the break was good to them. So guys have come out hot, and the break's been kind to you. You've gone both into the break with the same amount of shots on goal, pass completion rate, exact same amount of tackles won. 50-50 across the board. So yeah, good on you.
Couple of quick stat highlights from the first half. Ooh. Everybody, it seems, knew that Cadiz had just gotten promoted to La Liga. 78% of respondents got that one right. Santi Cazorla, 56% of respondents got it right. Let's see, what else do we have here? The one that split the crowd was the club with a consecutive streak of 10 seasons in La Liga being snapped in 17-18. And again, Deportivo, Malaga, and Sporting Gijón all getting votes there, Mike. And I think that's because those are 3 clubs that have all gone down recently. And, history kind of blends together in La Liga because there's so many of those clubs that you think of them and you think of La Liga, but in reality, they've actually spent oftentimes more time in Segunda in recent years than in La Liga.
Yeah, and I think that also speaks to the strength and the dominance in the last few years, and this is no secret, of our top 3 as well, right? Between Atleti, Barca, and Real Madrid. And I say that because it's those clubs who have had big moments against the big clubs throughout the years. And typically, we remember moments more than we do consistency on the whole, right? So I recall Gijón having some enjoyable times in the first division. I know it's a terrible example. I wish I could bring 1 or 2 up, but I do remember them in the beautiful red and white. Malaga, I mean, where do we even start, right? I mean, they had a beautiful ride both in Europe and domestically for quite some time, and they had some big names: Roque Santa Cruz, Ruud van Nistelrooy, Joaquin, I believe it's at one stage as well.
Wellington, the Brazilian defender. They were good, man. Santi Cazorla, as we mentioned in the first half, clubs that had some serious talent. And I mean, we talk about Deportivo La Coruña, and obviously they're going through some difficult times off the field right now. But a club that has really just had great moments, great nights in Europe, great nights in La Liga back in the late 90s. But without further ado, let's swing it into the second half. We'll kick things off and see if anybody can catch Namu and Tim atop our leaderboard. So, question 16. Only one Galician club has ever won La Liga. Which one? Is it Celta Vigo, Pontevedra, Deportivo La Coruña, or Compostela? And the answers should be up now.
Genuinely the most enjoyable list of pronunciated footballing team names you'll have on a trivia game this year.
It's there. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like I tripped anybody up with my 1930s La Liga teams, but no votes for Pontevedra, one for Compostela. I got one person, but the correct answer was Deportivo La Coruña. And again, 73% of participants getting that right, Mike. And, well, really just, again, you talk about a club that has, been there, done that, and now sit in Segunda and struggling in Segunda, not out of the relegation dogfight yet. It's pretty amazing. And I think, again, you talk about it speaking to the competitive status in Spain right now, that there's so many teams. You look at Mirandés, Alcorcón, there's all these clubs in the second division that are, dethroning larger clubs that have spent time in La Liga in the last 7 to 10 years. And they're really challenging them in Segunda. And you're seeing teams like Deportivo, teams like Malaga, teams like, obviously, Racing Santander is different because they just came up from Div 3 this year. But you're seeing traditional La Liga squads or clubs like Malaga and Depor struggling to even retain their status in La Liga Smart Bank Division 2 right now.
Yeah, and I think as we continue to see things like very powerful, well, in a post-COVID area, this might change. So I might be speaking a bit out of turn, but things like I was going to mention a broadcast deal and the amount of money that trickles down from such a powerful big broadcast deal for the teams in the first division. Again, we've seen this mirrored across Europe. So the balance shift for teams who do crawl out, especially if you're a new player and you do crawl out of Segunda for the first time, what that cash influx can do if spent right and if put into the right areas in the club, massive if, but if it's done right, you could sustain your position for quite a while longer, right? And then the opposite effect can happen too, dropping down and making a couple bad decisions. The margin of error now is so thin, but the windfall from a bad decision could be huge. So yeah, I think you'll start to see that a bit more and more, and you'll start to see players come and go not players as an individual, teams come and go in waves, 5-year waves and cycles, and maybe drop off for the same amount of time before coming back and vice versa.
So quick update, we're not going to flash the full rankings up, but for those of you chasing Namu and Tim in first and second, bad news, they both claimed full points on that question. Namu with a 1078 mark points total, and Tim at 1068. Ty McDonald, the only one really within touching distance, he's at 896. So the race, I don't want to say it's over, Mike, but everyone should stay tuned. We still have some great questions and banter ahead, but certainly looking good for Tim and Namu as we rip into question number 17. Which club does Spanish actor Antonio Banderas of Philadelphia, Zorro, great in Spy Kids as well, Mike, support? So which of the 4 following clubs does Antonio Banderas support? The options are Athletic Bilbao, Granada, San Lorenzo, or Malaga, and the answers will be up now.
Yeah.
So again, who does Antonio Banderas support? Bilbao, Granada, San Lorenzo, or Malaga?
That would be, on the whole, that would be a really good, just European-wide trivia question, because there's a lot of celebrities of note who are very clear supporters of ex-football clubs. I think I'm right in saying that members of the royal British family are Villa fans. I believe that. Obviously, we've seen Elton John be an outspoken supporter of Watford, and I believe has a stand named after him as well at some point in the stadium. So, yeah, aside from Antonio cheering for a particular club within Spain, I can't think of any other big, high-profile Spanish public figures and who their allegiances lie with. But if anybody does know, put them in the chat, because I would like to know.
Well, and there were some unfounded rumors, I think, last season that Banderas might be the next owner of Malaga, but I don't think so. I think most of the money he's put back into that city is more on the art side, on the theater side. But looks like we do have one in the chat from Taj. Prince apparently is an Atletico fan. Was an Atletico fan.
Yeah.
But
big ups for that.
There you go. So the correct answer was Malaga. Looks like 73% of respondents got that one right. We'll head over now to question 18, and this is one of your personal favorites, Mike. Aritz Aduriz will go down as an Athletic Bilbao club legend with over 300 appearances and 100 goals to his name. Which pair of La Liga clubs did he also play for beyond Bilbao? Granada Deportivo, Getafe Mallorca, Mallorca Valencia, or Valencia and Granada. The answers will be on screen now.
Carlos, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
There's a name for a player like Aduriz in Italy. There's a nickname, and it's called, that player is known for someone who is so closely identified with a particular club. Typically, it's about someone who spent their whole career there, but there are certain people who exceptions are made, like him. And that they call that person a bandiera. So someone, again, flag bearer in a way is what that's supposed to be. Is there a name for someone who is so unabashedly loyal to a particular club or so inextricably linked with one? Is there a nickname for that affectionately?
I mean, leyenda, but like there's not really off the top. There's not one I can think of. I think it varies from club to club. They'll have their own nickname for a Jesus Navas at Sevilla or a Joaquin at Betis, right? But interesting to note here, most people got that one right, and so I'm starting to think here, Mike, with some of these more in-depth questions, I feel like us taking the time to read the question plus all the answers is letting some people Google. I think we're starting to see some keyboard warriors here in the second half. People getting desperate, making a tactical change. Let's see how things go. We'll also take a quick look at our rankings leaderboard here after 18 questions. Namu and Tim, 1265 and 1255. They're in a dead heat. Kareem and Tyler McDonald both just under 1,000. Chris S. also hanging around. He's 9 of 18 at this point. And I think those 5 are really the only 5 that are in the mix for the 2 jerseys at this point. But great competition, and it'll be fun to watch. And looks like Taj has also chimed in. Sorry, the Spanish Prince, not the Prince. So that's definitely something worth clarifying. I was kind of thinking about that. Didn't think the Prince was much of a soccer guy, but yeah, Spanish Prince, Atletico Madrid. There you go. Interesting to note.
That would be a really confusing energy, like Prince and Simeone. Just something about that energy is like, can you imagine, Simeone just, raspberry beret in the change room before the game to really get the boys out? I'd be on board with that. I'd love it.
So the correct answer, by the way, folks, Aritz Aduriz, was C, Mallorca and Valencia. Of course, he spent the last 8 years of his career with Athletic Bilbao. Just an absolute club legend. Really incredible what he accomplished. And, well, this is one that we talked about on the last pod and the one before, Mike. It's the relegation battle this year. The first team to have its relegation to Segunda for 2020-21 confirmed this season was, and I'm just going to flash the 4 teams up there. Have at it. As, pretty interesting clubs there. Some teams going down and looks like we may have had a slight issue on the poll here as Espanyol's listed twice. So we're going to have to see what we can do on that one. But looks like most people are, getting the gist. I'll ask everyone, hold on a second here. I'll pop back onto question 19. And all those voting for Espanyol, vote for A would be my ballpark, and I think that might give it away, but looks like we just had a little bit of a glitch in inputting the trivia there. Just looking at, I don't even know whose fault that is. I'm just going to do one of these. So if you want to have at it there, again, I believe the question's open, and we'll be moving on to question 20 shortly here. So, queuing up question 20, we'll do another peek at the rankings leaderboard after this. This club rose through the ranks of Spanish football from the regional divisions in 1983 to its La Liga debut in 2004, and is currently in the mix for European football. The possible answers are Getafe, Villarreal, Granada, and Osasuna. So the answers will be live now. Get your answers in. As you see there, Getafe, Villarreal, Granada, and Osasuna. Looks like the answers are coming in, and the answers are largely trending towards Getafe. And that is indeed the correct answer. 70% of respondents getting that one right. So again, Mike, seeing a trend here of some pretty obvious questions where 70+% of participants are getting it right. We'll just flash the leaderboard rankings up there now. I think they should be viewable. And again, Namu with a 10-point lead. Kareem has now eclipsed Tyler McDonald. He's up about 80 points. And Chris S. hanging around as well. And looks like CGRP making a late surge with 500 points, but it might be too little too late. Can anyone catch Namu or Tim? That's the question here, Mike.
They're like chat bots. These guys just know. I mean, good for you guys, though. It's awesome. By the way, Getafe, obviously you might have noticed that last week maybe the week before. No, I think it was last week. They announced the next round of games and when they're going to happen for the Europa League and the Champions League. Getafe on the 5th of next month got a tie with Inter Milan coming up. So will be really, really nice. Obviously, Getafe, a team whose defensive solidity has been sort of the backbone this year. They're a very tough team. They'll get stuck in over the course of 90 minutes. So that'll be really interesting to see how they take on an Antonio Conte team who's going to play high on the flanks with 3 back. It could be an onslaught, but they're the kind of team that I could see grinding out, a result there and moving on. And I guess we can call it that might be something of a giant slaying if they take down Inter. I know Inter hasn't been in European competition for a little while, but still a huge club. So it'll be a big game for them. Tune in for that. That'll be fun.
So we'll go now to question 21. Again, Tim and Namu just neck and neck. Namu with a 10-point lead. Kareem also surging up. He's about 175 off the pace, but in the mix. So on to question 21. Sevilla has unofficially retired. Reed solely assigns it to products of the club's youth academy. Which number, in honor of Antonio Puerta, who tragically passed away in 2007, is it 6, 9, 16, or 22? Question and answers should be live now. Let's get your votes in. And again, really interesting to note here, Mike, ever since we started reading off the answers before we opened it up for answering, all of a sudden the number of correct votes skyrocketed. Really interesting how that worked out. I think there might be a couple keyboard warriors in there, but hey, with La Liga jerseys on the line, I can't blame them.
Guys, you're being inventive. It's okay. It's all good.
I love it. Tactics changing on the fly. And quick peek, I'll just take a look. Crowd rankings, Namu and Tim, again, just motoring. They're getting full points. Namu still with a 10-point lead. Looks like Kareem is also surging in third. And now we will move on to question 22. Which of the following would you be least likely to find on a pre-match menu in a La Liga city, Mike? Is it patatas bravas, chorizo, paella, or minestra d'orzo? And that will be live now. And Mike, I'll let you chime in after this, after the answers are in here.
Yeah. I mean, delicious, all of them. I'm just saying, like, there is the match day eats from one stadium to the next across Europe are really exciting. But I mean, I really wish there was a stadium that would offer all of what you just said on that last list. Incredible. Sorry, go ahead. I know the answers are coming in.
Not wrong. And again, 73% going with the minestra d'orzo, which is obviously Italian. Mike, tell us what that dish entails.
Well, if I got the pronunciation, everything switched over. Minestra d'orzo, is that a risotto?
I think so. I don't know. I searched Italian Serie A pregame,
okay,
and that's what popped up.
Okay, good. Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't know if there was a Spanish variation of it. I didn't want to offend anybody. But yeah, so essentially what it would be, it looks like either that or minestra. Well, risotto at a game would be really nice. I think that'd be a nice warm dish to have, especially in a northern Italian game. But the rest of them are all uniquely Spanish and delicious. I know there's also quite a bit of quite a bit of discussion around what is and what is not a traditional paella. So, Carlos, quickly tell us, what should you never put in a paella? What's
So,
something
I mean,
you never want
that's up for debate, and depending what region in Spain you're in. You go to Valencia, they're going to tell you, oh, seafood, marisco. We need calamari, we need shrimp, we need,
to? Yeah,
I had a lobster paella block from La Mestalla a couple of years ago. Still the best meal I've ever had. But, if you go further south, you get into Andalusia, you're going to get more of the chicken, the chorizo. But really, you walk into a restaurant in Spain and ask for paella, there's a million different ways they can do it, and you can customize it a lot of the time if you're at a decent restaurant. It's almost like ordering a pizza, except way tastier. Couple of other options just want to mention there from that question. Patatas bravas are basically medium-sized home fries. They come with a spicy tomato and garlic aioli on top. Really, really tasty. Often served in little bars around the stadium. Really popular finger food with a beer or two. And of course, chorizo is chorizo, and I think most North Americans have been exposed to that at some point or another, Mike. And again, we just flashed up the rankings there, I believe. As you take a quick peek, Namu has now opened up a 48-point lead, so still pretty narrow. Him and Tim going tit for tat, 17 for 22 to date. Kareem is flying. He's trying to play catch up. He's 15 for 22. Ty McDonald and Chris also over 1,000. Probably not in the mix, barring a complete collapse, but nonetheless, fun to see all the participants. Looks like we have one participant, Boz, way down there, Ofer, but we appreciate you trying. 0 for 22. It's tough, but you still got 8 more opportunities.
It's sort of like a chatbot there, but maybe just the other way. There was one part of the chatbot algorithm was just off. But there's always time to correct. There's a few more left, right?
Absolutely. So we're going 30 questions, folks. Again, Namu and Tim, first and second, they're in line to get their jerseys. Kareem, Ty, and Chris kind of lurking in the background, but they're going to need a slip up from the top two, much the same way that an Atleti or a Sevilla would have needed a slip up from Real and Barca this year. They're going to need an absolute catastrophe for those top two guys to get back into the money here. So we'll move on to question 23. Which of the following clubs whose stadium hosted a 1982 FIFA World Cup match is not currently in La Liga or La Liga Smart Bank? So which of these 4 teams is not currently in the first or second division in Spain? The options are Cordoba, Hércules, Gimnàstic, or A and B, Cordoba and Hércules. So those will be live now. Get your votes in: Cordoba, Hercules, Gimnàstic de Tarragona, or A and B. Which do you think it is? Had a chance to take a game in Cordoba a couple of years ago. Saw Jose Antonio Reyes, rest in peace, score a penalty in a 4-2 loss to Huesca, and it was just a phenomenal afternoon. We actually sat with his family, which was super, super special in the family box. Myself and Tyler McDonald, actually, who's in the quiz tonight, lurking in the top 5. I converted him to being a Spanish soccer fan on that trip. We did an incredible 4-4 trip, 4 cities, 4 matches, 4 days. We saw Sevilla, Real Sociedad. We saw Cordoba, Huesca on the Saturday. We saw Malaga the year they went down. It was May 2018. They lost 3-0 at home to Alaves, got whistled off the field. Great day. We sat front row behind the net. And then we finished it off on a Monday night. We saw Rayo Vallecano win 2-0 at Granada. That was the year Vallecano won the league and went up. They brought 3,000 fans to Granada on a Monday night. It was incredible, pouring rain. Just the kind of trip that, and I think, maybe we'll get Ty on for a later pod episode, Mike, but it was the kind of trip that, 1, you never forget, and 2, how can you not love soccer in Spain, and specifically soccer in Andalusia after seeing that? And it looks like we've producer Kev's got a poll for us here too. So he said he's launched it now. And that's interesting. So it's a poll. Those of you that tuned in last week, Ben Fisk was on the show. Which Segunda B team did he play for of the 4 listed? And some good ones there as well, all kind of in the same region of Spain up north. Amorebieta, Deportivo de La Coruña B, Burgos or Baracaldo. And I believe all four of those sides are in the same group in Segunda B. So that's interesting. If you're on the Zoom call, throw in your response there in the poll. And Ben Fisk, phenomenal guest last week, Mike, and a guy that is going to get things going shortly, it looks like, with Atletico Ottawa in the CPL.
Yeah, really exciting. And I just loved having him on, and we talked to him about this. I mean, he's been part of a lot of startup footballing projects, right? He was part of the Whitecaps organization during its early days. He was able to go through the same experience on the West Coast last year with Pacific at the start of their CPL journey, and he's doing it again with Atletico Ottawa. And no disrespect to the first two teams I mentioned, but Atleti Ottawa's journey is unlike any other. I mean, the fact that they're a brand new team and still a relatively brand new league, under the guidance of a massive European superpower, right? So how this is going to shape up, both administratively, but also in a footballing sense, is a really exciting project to follow. And all I'm hoping is that one of the world's current great football videographers or media companies is able to pick it up and do a nice full documentary on them, because I'm sure these early days trying to launch your club during a pandemic as well is got its own stories and tales built into it. I'm really excited for them.
So a look at the poll results there. I think they're being shared in the Zoom call. Looks like 56% of respondents, so the majority of you folks on Zoom, did know that it was indeed Deportivo's B team, Burgos, getting a couple votes as well. And interestingly enough, he also played for Corucho as well. So Ben Fisk, a guy that, like you said, well-traveled. By
the way, do you think that Malaga's staff knows that despite the fact they got relegated, they are just really happy that they made your day? Because, I mean, you still said still a great day out to go see them play. Not for them. Like, for you, it would have been. Do you think that was the big takeaway at the meeting? Oh, Carlos and his Canadian buddies came and they had a great time, though. Isn't that great, folks?
It was great. It was great. They lost 3-0. Some bench guy from Alaves who finished 16th that year. That was the worst part, Mike. I was there. I watched Malaga 7 times in 9 weeks. Home and away, saw them at Betis. They won 1 game while I was there. Like, it was unbelievable. They finished dead last, and deservedly so. They were so bad that year. It was incredible.
Only one thing changed.
It was piping hot. We got to hear some Spanish kids harassing Nesiri, who was obviously on Malaga at that time. Now, we know his pathway has been interesting the last few years, this year especially at Sevilla. And Nesiri, dame tu camiseta. So the whole warm-up, the guy's taking shots, and, he's got like a gaggle of these little like Spanish 8-year-old boys, super whiny, and Nesiri, and at the end, he just kind of started walking over to them as though he was going to give them the training top, and then turned heel and left, and all the kids were just rattled. It was great, honestly. But let's get back to the quiz, folks. We're going on to question number 24 here. The correct answer, by the way, was A and B, Córdoba and Hércules, the Estadio Nuevo Arcángel and the Estadio José Rico Pérez, both of which seat, upwards of 30,000. Nice facilities. I've been to Córdoba. It's a wonderful stadium and an absolute boiler pot of a part of Spain. Ridiculously hot there, especially in your August and September matches and then your May matches. So the answer was A and B. Looks like 50% of respondents got that one right. And we're now going to swing into question 24. Which club plays at El Sadar? Is it Valladolid, Getafe, Celta Vigo, or Osasuna? The answers are live.
So you know how for example, in Italy, depending on the match day, the San Siro, if it's AC or Inter playing, they'll change the name to Stadio Giuseppe Meazza and then flip back to San Siro if the other club is playing. I really want Atletico Ottawa to do that with the club, because they obviously are going to be sharing a stadium with a couple other pro sports franchises. But I want, when it's just Atletico Ottawa's days, to call it a really uniquely Spanish name, like some of the ones the one you just mentioned. I think that'd be fabulous. And if it was like La Gran Byword, like, I'd love it. I want something like that. Is what I want to see.
I'm just waiting for the Bank Street Metropolitano. That's what I'm holding. Could be tough though, because of the situation with them renting the building from the Ottawa Sports Entertainment Group to do that. But I agree. it's a great idea, and I'm really curious to see what they're going to do in terms of, an official supporters group, if they're going to have any chance in Spanish. There's so much room for opportunity and room for growth there, and I'm really excited to. Now, granted, it's likely, almost certainly going to be in 2021, but I'm really excited to see how that club starts out of the gate.
Yeah, just remember that the league already was okay with coining Al Clasico. I don't think a renaming on match day purposes only for Atletico can really be that frowned upon, considering that we've allowed Al Clasico to exist. So yeah, come on, get it in.
And the 905 derby that is from opposite ends of the EHA, I guess it would be called. But anyways, God bless them. They're trying to, form rivalries and give the matchups some spark out of the gate. But I agree. The El Clasico might have been a low for North American soccer.
Oh, I like it.
All right, so we're going to move into question 25. When did Valencia last win La Liga? Was it 2001, 2002, 2002, 2003, 2003, 2004, or 2004, 2005? Some great Rafa Benitez era stuff there. As answers should be live now.
With Canizares as the goalie of one of those.
Oh.
Yeah,
you can definitely tell who's Googling because the answers are coming in like this and correctly. And then a lot of the incorrect ones are people that are kind of taking the time to actually sit around and read, I think, Mike. But hey, tactician's going to tactician, right?
Maybe they were of the generation who learned typing in school, like we did. It was like new. It was newfangled enough where that it was taught, so it was just very quick. Yeah, no index finger. Crushing the keyboard. None of that.
The home row, right?
Yeah,
muscle memory. I just got a text from somebody that's playing nowhere near the top 10, I might add, and he just said, "I just click and pray." And you know what? You could say the same about Espanyol this year.
Way.
Sorry. I really do hope they come back. Great stadium, awesome fans, and tough to see them struggle the way they have. I think they've lost 7 in a row. They lost at home against Leganés. Really just, the same way that Malaga fully deserved to go down in 17-18, Espanyol wholeheartedly belong in right now.
You know what's sad? When you say click and play, the only football-related sort of realistic example of click and play is like when you're on manager mode, for example, in FIFA, you can simulate a game, right? I think if you did a manager mode with Espanyol and you simulated every game, they still wouldn't get relegated. So I think clicking and letting go would actually have been a better turnout for them, as opposed to actually trying to get on the field and compete in the way that they did all season, which got them in the position that they're in.
And on that note of manager mode, we're taking it offline, Mike, but the idea is definitely there to have a La Liga draft with 20 people, each being assigned a team in La Liga, and we're going to do some kind of draft, and then we're going to sim it out on either FIFA 20 or Football Manager 2020. And I'll take lead on that. It'll be fun. And I also want to plug my Valencia career mode really quickly. Fantastic. I'm second in La Liga in 2021. Super excited. Richarlison, Ronaldo, Gonzalo Guedes, unbeatable front three. Unbeatable.
Yeah. Move along, would you?
Pardon?
Move along, would you? Let's go.
All right. I'm sorry. Question 26. But do stay tuned because that is something that is coming down the pipe, and hopefully we can work with folks at La Liga and Footy Talks to make that happen for 20 lucky viewers. So moving on to question 26, we'll do a crowd ranking check right after this, and there are 4 questions after this one. We will be checking the rankings immediately after each of the remaining 5 questions. So question 26, when was the last time Real Betis won the Copa del Rey? And I'm just going to flash the answers up because I don't want anybody Googling the rest of the way.
I think it's a straight answer flash up from here on out for the home stretch. Yeah.
You read the answers and you go.
Yeah.
And, well, we're starting to see, the same 5 or 6 people are locked in here in the second half, Mike. You can see it. They're getting the answers right. It's pretty remarkable.
Chatbot stuff.
2005, last time Betis claimed the Copa del Rey, and again, a club that we talked about it with Colin Miller a couple of weeks ago on the Footy Talks La Liga pod, Mike. Just a fascinating club, huge expectations, and And it seems like every year and a half, they're turning over a new manager. There's drama. They might be in the relegation battle, usually in the bottom half, but nonetheless, a club that has a very special place in the hearts and minds of Spanish soccer fans. So we will move on now to question 27. But before we do, we're going to check out the leaderboard. I think you should be able to see it now on your screens. Tim has taken a 100-point lead on Namu, and oh boy, Kareem, just 41 points behind Namu now. Both of them 19 for 26. Ty McDonald in fourth on 12:35, and Chris S. in fifth on 11:12. Looks like it's going to be a 3-horse race here, Mike, down the stretch.
Yeah, here we go. You guys are making it competitive. Don't forget, third place gets you in the Champions League. Come on.
So now over to question 27. Which of the following players was not in Barcelona's 11 for the 2006 Champions League final versus Arsenal? And you see it. It's live. Get your answers in. And this is an interesting one, and I think I've done tripped quite a few people here. Xavi was on the bench. He was a youngster behind Julian Van Bommel on that Barcelona team. So it looks like we kind of got a few people there. And as a result, we're going to quickly check the rankings. Back to the rankings. Tim still in the lead. Namu with a 50-point lead on Kareem. Ty McDonald 500 points back. So safe to say it's between Tim, Namu, and Kareem the rest of the way.
So aggressive to say anybody's 500 points back. I mean, it's
I know. That's like, that's a serious points deduction to start the year.
Yeah, it is. It's tough to climb out of that one. You can't pull like a Kievo and somehow stay alive from that. So no.
So question 28, we got 3 to go here, folks. Which of the following players has not played for Celta Vigo? And the answers are going to be live now. So some great names in there too, Mike.
Yeah, Celta Vigo, a club who is going to be a really interesting watch from now to the end of the year as well, have grinded out, and I say grinded out, a couple results of late because it hasn't all been pretty, but we're talking scraping by 3 points here and 3 points there. Again, it's a massive cliche, but it doesn't matter how they come at this stage of the year. They just need to come in fast. So I think they'll be a really interesting team to keep an eye on throughout the last home stretch. And like we said before, them going down is dangerous for them on so many levels that we won't get into right now. But yeah.
Safety first for them, and then everything else comes after. Quick look at our rankings leaderboard. Tim on 1967, Namu on 1901, and Kareem just hanging 42 points back of Namu. We're going down to the wire, folks. This is going to be a lot of fun. On to question 29. I'll hit pause so I can read the question here. Which club won the inaugural edition of La Liga in a shortened 18-game campaign in 1929? Answers on screen now. So some great options there. Even a club from the past there with Europa. Man, looks like we might have gotten a couple of people here, Mike. In fact, the majority of people taking Bilbao and Real Madrid. The correct answer was Barcelona. They won the shortened 1929 La Liga season. And, that's a long time ago. Neither of us was around for that. But Bilbao, also a big player, along with, I believe, Real Sociedad in the early 1930s as La Liga was getting going. We'll flip it now to our rankings leaderboard. Looks like Tim has surged ahead. Namu and Kareem both wrong on that one. So it's going to come down to the final question. Namu holding a 42-point lead on Kareem for the second jersey spot.
Sorry, I almost cut you off there. Do you think there's people from that shortened season title victory from Barcelona who still claim in the streets that there's an asterisk beside that title, the same way that there will be City fans and the like who will forever just assume that Liverpool's was, was going to have an asterisk beside it somehow? I bet you there is still someone at a cafe somewhere doing, really disgruntled and griped about the whole thing. Anyway,
there's a bar in Bilbao somewhere that says real 1929 La Liga champions.
Yeah, like the same Juventus people who like debate whether or not that additional star that was the Calciopoli star counts or not. It's the same thing. I love that.
So question 30, which club calls the Estadio Alfonso Perez home? And the answers are on screen now. Get your votes in. And looks like this one is going to be a walk in the park. We'll take a quick look at our rankings here, Mike. And I think we're just about done here, as the correct answer was indeed Getafe. And we will now open it up to our rankings leaderboard, where the winner tonight on the Footy Talks La Liga Pods Trivia Night, Tim, goes 24 for 30, 21.57, and Namu nails Getafe. It was a gimme game, but boy, oh boy, Namu knocked it out of the park, gets the 1-0 win, and sneaks into that number 2 spot, just 40 points ahead of Kareem. Tyler McDonald and Chris S. rounding out our top 5 there. Also a shout out to Kate Boz, Corona No Portivo, nice name, CGRP 19, and Max White, who round out our top 10. So that's going to do it. We'll bring on Tim first, and I think producer Kev's going to bring him on here. But Tim, congratulations on winning tonight, and we'll get your first jersey request. Your jersey request, first place, you get your pick. And just curious, what is the name in the Zoom here for Tim?
Yeah, Tim, if you could just maybe put your name into the chat, so we can kind of quickly identify where you are in the participant list. But congratulations! Stay tuned. If we have, I wish there would be a future edition of this where we'll give you a virtual.
In a not shocking turn of events, it appears that Taj has won tonight, and Taj will bring you on now. And for those of you that don't know Taj, he runs the La Liga Canada Twitter account. It's unofficial, but it's a great spot. A lot of great banter on Twitter, and really just the La Liga super fan here in Toronto. We had the chance to meet him at our panel. I think it was back in October 2019. Taj, congrats on the win tonight. You came on strong kind of from the 75th minute on. Which jersey would you like?
I would love the Valencia one.
All righty. So Taj is going home with the Valencia one. Taj, I'm sure we'll see you soon, and congrats on the win tonight. A lot of fun. Thanks for joining as always, and I'm sure we'll see you soon.
Yeah, it was amazing. I love the new format.
Awesome.
Here's Taj. And Taj is desperate to go out and get Alessandro Florenzi on the back. I'm imagining that's why he wants the jersey. So you're a good man.
I can think of a number of second-rate Portuguese guys that could go on the back.
Well, Valencia is going to sell all of them, so.
That's it. So we'll bring on Namu now. So Taj, congrats on the win, and now we'll bring in Namu quickly to wrap things up. Big second-place performance. It was nervy there down the stretch with Kareem chasing you, and well, you managed. You did manage.
He may or may not be joining us in a moment. By the way, I like the image of a Kareem chasing someone at the table, because wasn't it Kareem Benzema who once referred to himself as a luxury sports car? Right? So the image of having just a Kareem and chasing someone brings up memories of that fantastic Zlatan levels of self-glorification from Benzema. Anyways, Namu's here, I think.
Hey guys, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, how you doing?
Pretty good, man. How are you doing?
Good.
Yo, I was sweating bullets the entire hour and 15 minutes right now, guys. It was so much fun, for real. It's my first time doing this. Yeah.
That was good. So obviously Valencia's off the board. So which official La Liga kit are you going home with tonight?
Carlos, I've been supporting Valencia since 2003. So I hope you guys do have a second Valencia kit around. But if you guys didn't, then I'll take a few minutes and get back to you guys on that for sure. But
okay.
I'm just, I just have so much fun right now.
No worries. I can tell you were just devastated. I can see you in the chat, pushing for that Valencia jersey. Looks like Kareem has also left a message in the chat. Congrats, folks. It was a great race. Really enjoyed tonight. And, Namu, we'll get back to you on that either way, but you will be going home with a La Liga jersey. We'll just sort out whether or not there's a second Valencia one for you. I'm not entirely sure, but we will get back to you on that. So again, tonight's final top 5. It was a great race down the stretch. Tim ended up pulling away, and by Tim, we talked Taj, obviously. Great follow on Twitter as well. Namu comes in second, about 158 points behind Taj, and Kareem was right there, 40 points. So basically just the difference was, I think, timing on some of the responses. That's probably the only difference. That's like losing on away goals, Mike.
That's painful. You've made a painful experience just that much more acutely felt by saying it's like losing on away goals. It's terrible.
Oh, terrible. So, and then Kareem finishes third, Tyler McDonald in fourth, and Chris S. in fifth. Again, we thank everybody who took part, and believe it or not, there was one person that went 0 for 30, and that is impressive.
It's like its own award in a way.
We'll say they entered administration.
Yeah. They're kind of like the fine folks. I forget who the club's name is from Scotland and way down the footballing pyramid who went some extraordinary amount of games without winning a match. I don't remember who it was, but I will.
Looks like Boz had a little Phoenix Club situation. He ended up finishing 7th. Came in under a different name. Smart guy. But that's pretty much a wrap for us, Mike. And, thanks to those of you that tuned in for these last couple episodes of the Footy Talks La Liga pod. We really appreciate you guys and hope to be able to bring this to you again, next season once the tables reset, once Cadiz is up from Segunda, once Malaga is hopefully still in Segunda. And, Mike, it's been a slice, and thanks for being a part of this.
No, you guys have been great. Thank you, everybody, and keep your eyes peeled for all things La Liga as the season winds down. It was a flurry of games since we've been doing these shows because of the compressed schedule, but there's a lot still to play for within the league domestically, and then as I had briefly touched on before, Carlos, there's a few teams also still throwing punches in European competition as well. So lots to play for. And don't forget, I mean, the way that some of these La Liga squads who are in European competition finish those competitions, whether it be Europa League or Champions League, could also have a huge impact on what they do next season in terms of who they bring in, managerial changes and so on. So there's if you're a neutral on tonight, there's a lot of teams still left to fall in love with between now and the end of the year. So indulge in it, enjoy it, and thank you guys all for taking part in these. It's been a blast.
So on behalf of all of us here at Homestand Sports and our presenting partner La Liga, we thank you guys for tuning in throughout the last couple of weeks. It's been a lot of fun, and we look forward to conclusion of the season. It's coming thick and fast. Games on Thursday, games on Sunday. Check them out, and we will catch you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in, and hope to see you soon.